What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am back with another review, and it is an overmold. I done showed you. This is the Relativity from MVP. This is a 14.5 speed. I hadn't even read that. That's a large claim there, 14.5 speed. I mean, it is got a big rim on it right there, but 5.5 glide, -3 turn, and a 1.5 fade. So if you've got a lot of arm speed, it seems like this could be a flippy disc. Shout out to Martin for letting me borrow this. I only have one, so I won't have a ton of throws in this video, but I will try to get at least enough so you can see the flight potentials. Now, with it being a 14 speed, I'm going to say it's probably not going to be a very beginner friendly disc, but look at that rim, pretty sharp. But this is going to be the first gyro technology driver that I've reviewed or pretty much thrown, so there'll be that. But before I go any further, so I don't forget, make sure you please click that subscribe button for me. I would appreciate it, and ding that bell so you know when these videos come out. I would love for you to subscribe and jump in and join the channel. I like having y'all here. But let's go ahead and give this disc some throws and see how this 14.5 speed flies for a not 14.5 speed guy. Alright, so for first throw, just because I don't want to try to make sure I don't have any what? I want to try to make sure I have as few bad throws as possible so I don't have to go pick this up all the time and rethrow it. So I'm going to hit this flat. Since it's so high speed, it should handle my arm. So we'll hit it flat, see how that first flight goes. Oh yeah. There's stability in that there disc. Even though it does say -3 on turn, the speed of it really doesn't let it fly that way. So maybe some really high speed players can get a crazy turnover on that, but I don't know that I'm going to get a turnover unless I force it over. So yeah, let's go pick it up and throw it again. Alright, so after that first throw with this Relativity, I'm going to hit this thing flattish and try to hold it out just. I might just go underneath this right side tree limb, hopefully, and just see how this thing flies just with a decent power shot. It should hyzer back out. I'm going to put a slight hyzer. I don't want to throw this in the river. I mean, the thing has some stability to it. I got through that tree and it hyzered out past hole 2's basket, and I'm on hole 9. Yeah, that can handle some power. The -3 is not going to show up unless you've got a really high arm speed. In my opinion, it doesn't seem. So far, I've seen 2 overstable flights out of this disc. I'm going to attempt to throw this on anhyzer and get a flex flight out of it. Who knows if it'll go correctly or not. It did. It held it. Now I will say it didn't hold a ton of glide, but it did hold that angle the whole time. So you can work this disc over, but it's not going to be that -3 holdover that you would expect. Like if it was an 11 speed with a -3, you'd be getting that flight off of a hyzer. I had to throw that on anhyzer pretty solid to get that flight, so keep that in mind. Alright, we're going to take this thing, hit it again. I might do 1 or 2 more throws with it, but this thing's doing pretty much one thing where it's so high speed. We'll just give it a good pop, I think. That was probably the most neutralish flight that I've seen out of it so far. I felt like I got a good move on it. I don't think I've got enough arm speed to actually get this thing up enough to get good glide. So I think that's what that's coming down to. Just a touch too fast for me to get the true whole flight out of that disc. Because that's probably going to end up short of 400 right there. I think the other one I threw was getting close to 400 before this. That had a lot of flex on it. That one's going to be short of it. Probably like 380, something like that. Still flies nice, but it is definitely fast. We're going to give this thing a forehand. See how it flies. I feel like this is actually going to be a decent forehander's disc. We shall see. Not if you roll it over into the ground. Yay! One more forehand. There we go. That was actually a pretty good forehand. That was nice. Yeah. Definitely a good shot on that one. The Relativity. What can I say? It is relatively. Did I say relatively? The Relativity is relatively overstable. So what I'm going to say about this disc, it's a solid disc. It's a good thrower. It does have a big rim, so if you're not a big rim driver type of person, you might not like to feel this in hand, but it's fairly flat top, so it is a decent forehand disc. I got a couple good ones. I had one or two bad ones, and I had one really good one. But this thing is pretty high speed. It says 14.5 speed. Like I said, 5.5 glide and a -3 turn, 1.5 fade. Let me tell you, do not trust the turn and fade on this unless you have elite distance. I don't think you're going to see that, or at least maybe not elite, but pretty top tier distance. Because I mean, I don't throw far, but I can throw at least 400 to 450 in that range depending on the day. My top throws have been 450 and I've touched it a few times. This was maybe max getting 400 for me, and the -3 was not showing up. For me to get it to turn, actually, I needed to throw it at least flat or on anhyzer to get that turn. So unless you've got big distance like I don't, you're not going to see that -3. It's going to be more like a -1, 2 or something, if you ask me. That's what it'd be. Maybe you could keep the 1.5 fade, because it's not like a crazy aggressive fade, but it does want to come back out. So maybe like a -1, 1.5 or something like that. I don't see -3. So solid disc, but like I said, just don't look at the numbers. It's gonna fly different. But yeah, that is the Relativity. Let me know if you like these videos and what overmold driver I should try next, because I've not thrown hardly any of them. That's all I got. Till next time, guys. Peace.